This is my Dragon Link deck profile for November 2025. I brought this to locals recently. It was pretty fun. Not the strongest build, not the most optimal build. If there's a super obvious card I'm not playing, it's probably because I don't have it. Example, Bystial Dispatter is not a part of this list. If you do have it, you should run it. But yeah, let's get into it. So we'll go, I guess, engine by engine. You have the 3 Black Metal Dragon. This is the best starter in the deck. And then you have the 1 Darkness Metal, and then the other normal summon and its engine, Starleech Seifert, 1 Black Dragon, 1 White Dragon, and 1 Chaos Space. So any of these with an extender is just full combo, but I do prefer Black Metal Dragon to Seifert. I think the thing with Black Metal Dragon is that it can't get hit by stuff like Impermanent Veiler. It can still get ashed, and you can still get hit by a Dominus Purge, but since that effect triggers in the graveyard, it's a little less resistant to stuff. Whereas Seifert, it can get Impermed and Veilered, and with Seifert, because you have to send the monster for cost, and it's almost always sending itself. If it gets negated, you don't get a search, and you just have no body on board, which really, really hurts. But yeah, that is it for, I guess, the starter engines. And then what you'll use to extend is the rocket engine. So pretty standard: 2 Tracer, 1 Absoluter, 1 Recharger, 1 Rocket Synchron. This never came up at my locals. You could probably cut this, but I do like playing 2 because, like, if you draw the Recharger, this card's just dead. Like, this whole line is dead. So I prefer playing 2 names. And then Absoluter, not great when you draw it because you're not playing a high rocket count, so you're not going to get a special summon it, but this is a great discard off of other cards like Dragon Ravine. So, and this is how you enter your Synchro package. Then obviously 3 Quick Launch, the best rocket card. This card's going to be even better when we get Burst Protocol and Rocket Loader. That card's really good, and I probably will talk about Burst Protocol a little bit and how I think it will change the deck. Then the 1 Boot Sector Launch, which is mandatory, and then the other field spell, which I kind of group into the rocket cards, is Dragon Ravine, because you're using this to send Absoluter to the graveyard. That's almost always what you're going to send. You could maybe send a Bystial Soronier, but it's 9 times out of 10, it's going to be Absoluter. And then speaking of Bystials, we have 3 Libellion. Really nice that this card got reprinted in the Chronicle Structure deck. Searches everything, or searches the Bystials rather. The effect in graveyard is a summoning condition and not an effect, which is really, really nice. I know there was a list last year or the year before that where you played this and won the Dark End Evaporation Dragon, and you could go into Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. I think that's really cool. I'm not playing it in this. I might play that in an updated list that I maybe release later, but yeah, overall, just really, really good card. And then the things you'll search off of it: your Bystial Magnemite, which is limited, unfortunately, your Bystial Drillswarm, which is also unfortunately limited, and then the 1 Baldrake. And then 3 Soronier to add to that. This card is, I'd argue Baldrake is maybe the worst, because dumping stuff is actually really, really nice, especially the Bystials, because you can recur stuff pretty easily. And then the 1 Branded Regained, and then I was playing Branded Beast before, but I did decide to cut this. I think the playlines with this feel a little bit greedy. You place this in the Spell and Trap zone with Libellion, and then Soronier will dump this, and then end phase, Branded Beast will place Regain in the Spell and Trap zone. And I think it is a cool combo. I think it does work. But playing this, you're running kind of like an additional brick, an additional 1-of, and a deck that plays, honestly, probably too many 1-ofs. And for this to all go well, you're kind of assuming that your opponent doesn't hand trap you or everything goes fine. So you could play this, but I did choose to cut it. then finally for the non-engine, you can really play anything. My stuff looks kind of weird, but it's, I guess, kind of local specific. I played 3 Ash. Not the strongest hand trap this format, but just generally can hit a lot of stuff. I played 3 Fenrir, which didn't perform the way I thought it would, but I think is still a decent option. It does bait out a lot of interaction, and it doesn't take up your normal summon. And then I played 3 Infinite Impermanence, which again is super generic, and then 2 Super Polymerization. My thought process was kind of just, how can I make my opponent's board irrelevant, or any action they took if I'm going second irrelevant, and Super Poly can do that pretty well. I did actually play against Dracotail, but I unfortunately don't have a very good target to play against Dracotail, so this didn't actually come up in that matchup. And then really quickly going over the side deck, my whole thought process was just high impact cards. So Droll, Lingering, Hand Trap, Nibiru, Heavy Impact, 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Feather Duster. You could just play 3 Lightning Storm, but I don't have a third one, and this works fine as well. 3 Dark Ruler No More for going second, and then 3 Solemn Strike for going first. Probably better off playing 2 Strike, 1 Judgment, but... And then finally the extra deck, which honestly I think I built pretty poorly. Most of the stuff I just didn't go into, or the stuff that I did go into just sometimes wasn't very effective. But obviously Link 1s have to play Striker Dragon, which this card was at 3. And then the 1 Pisty, still really, really good. And Link 2s, Erratic Seals. Seals Pass is still pretty strong, even in 2025. And then the Rocket Engine, I guess, Quad Boral, and Delingris. I didn't summon either of these, so honestly, I'd maybe consider cutting them, but the thing is, if you play enough games, this will come up, and these cards are also going to be very important when we get Burst Protocol. The 1 Romulus to search the Dragon Ravine, and this card is also going to be pretty cool when we get Burst Protocol, because Rocket Loader can turn this into a dark while Rocket Loader's in the graveyard, so you can make the new Link 3 Triz Boral. So this card definitely still has a place. And then SP Little Knight, which I made once, and it didn't really help at all. For the higher links, we have Triple Burst. This card's so weird because the effect never comes up, but you need it because it's a Link 3, and because the zone points down so you can work with Pisty. This probably is a card that will be cut when we get Burst Protocol because of the new Link 3. And the new Link 3's arrows, I believe 2 of them point down, so he had a long run, but I think his time is over. And then for the final links, I played Borland, the boss monster, and then I also played Borreload Dragon. I wanted to have a second boss monster. I didn't feel like this was enough, and this did come up, but you'd probably play something else. This could be an Access Code, but I decided not to play Access Code because most of the stuff is dark, so you're really only going to get 1 pop, and you don't really have much of an issue getting over big monsters. So, and the Super Poly targets, played 1 Mud Dragon and 1 Garura, pretty standard for Super Poly. Honestly, if I knew I was going to play Dracotail, maybe I would have played Mysterian the Dragon Crown. That would have been pretty nice. And then the Borreload Savage substitutes. We have Berserker of the Tenyi, which I summoned once, and I think it just got popped almost immediately. And then Evil Swarm Nightmare, which is, if you're not aware, it's kind of just, it's a Book of Moon, but it's not a hard once per turn. 2 level 4 darks. This was actually very good. And then finally Typhon, which I know a lot of people, especially I did a poll, a lot of people are not huge fans of Typhon. I think this is a good deck to play Typhon in because of the Bystials. You have the opportunity in this deck to interact with your opponent on their turn so much with the Bystials that I think Typhon works really well. It doesn't work well in decks where you make it on your turn, you maybe get rid of 2 of your opponent's monsters, and then you pass, and you have no interaction on their turn. I don't think it works very well in decks like that. That is the deck profile. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. What would you change? What would you improve? How do you think Burst Protocol is going to affect this deck? you think we're going to play more rockets, less rockets, please let me know. And I might also update this profile in the near future with some other pretty interesting cards. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next one.